Let's talk about taking risks. And I mean risks that are going to significantly pay off for you if they come through, right? The type of risk where if you were to succeed, your life drastically changes. I'm not talking about the type of risks where you work an office job, you've saved up a little bit of money, you quit and you go explore Thailand for 2 months, right? It's still a great risk to take. You get some stories, you get some memories, and you get a bit of life experience, right? But the type of risks that I find best are the ones where if they pay off, your whole life changes forever, right? I can remember the main risk I took. I was at university. I was working away. I'd been working online for years, and I finally found a gap. I finally started to see results. They weren't life-changing results, but I said, right, I'm dropping out. I'm dropping out of university in my third year of a software engineering degree, and I knew I had to take this risk. I knew I had to do it because the payoff was too good, right? And against all pushback, against all challenges and obstacles of that risk, I still did it. And it was the biggest payoff I've ever had, potentially ever will have. Definitely the biggest risk reward my family has ever seen, right? And that's what I want to talk about, right? I want to talk about those type of risks where if you pay off, your whole direction in life changes, right? Because life is about risk, and life is about making those risks work and taking them when you can, right? I'm always a believer in you walk down a path, and if you can't see ahead, just look for your next step, right? If you can't see 10 steps ahead, just look for the next step, right? You know what the end goal is, you kind of know what's the end of this dark path, right? But you don't know what challenges you're going to go through. You don't know what each step is going to consist of. You don't know whether something's going to sweep you away and take you. You don't know if you're going to be hit with illness, health issues, or what. But what you do know is how to move your leg and how to take that next step, and that is what it's about, right? If you're in a position now where you're in the internet money space, you're making money, and you're in a position where you can take risks, right? Maybe you live at home, maybe your bills are super cheap, your overheads are low, you're somewhat looked after, or you just work part-time, right? Take the risk. Take a risk and use it as fuel to push you further. Use it as an accelerator, okay? You need to get to the end of your life knowing you did everything you possibly could in it, okay? Because when you take risks and you get the rewards, everything else is easier. Maybe you want to take the risk of quitting your job and going to Thailand for 2 months, but why don't you think of another way to get there? Why don't you think, okay, I'm going to quit my job, I've saved up some money, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to graft Etsy for a few months. That's what I'm going to do instead. Super cheap. I don't have to spend $2,000 on flights. I'm saving the money there. Maybe I can do it this way. And it's like, okay, that's the big risk I'm going to take. What's the payoff? Well, huge cash flow, financial payoff, right? And you can then go and do the Thailand thing a lot better, a lot less stressful, and in a much better mindset and environment. So it's all about taking the right risks in order to have the life you want, right? You have to be strategic with it. Not every risk you should take. Some risks are just absolutely absurd, right? But if you think you can make it work, then make it work, right? You don't want to get to the end of your life thinking, oh, I'm really sorry, children and grandchildren, I've got nothing really to leave you. I've got no good stories. Oh, I really wish I did skydiving, right? You have to do it, because right now when you're watching this video, you're the youngest you're ever going to be, right? You're not going to be the same age you were yesterday or early today or an hour ago. So the best time to do whatever risk you're thinking of doing is now, because the longer you leave it, the more you push yourself away from it, the less likely you are to do it. When you think you shouldn't jump, that is exactly when you should jump.